President Kennedy's plane has just arrived after a 2-hour, 40-minute flight from El Paso, Texas, where the president spent last night on his Western tour. Heading the reception committee is Governor Brown. And Governor Brown, I understand you have an interesting story to tell about how you invited the president here.
Well, yes, Dr. Love suggested that he be given a degree down here, and when I went back to Washington, I really went back to get him to take the first honorary degree, accept the first honorary degree from the state colleges of our state.
You were at a baseball game at the time.
We were at the baseball game between Baltimore and Washington, and I sold him on the idea of coming out here. He was just going out and inspect the Navy and the maneuvers, and I felt that this would be good for the state colleges and the higher education of our state.
It's a great day for the state colleges here.
It certainly is, and a great day for San Diego.
The News and Special Events Department of TV8 presents highlights of President Kennedy's visit to San Diego. Brought to you as a public service by your Douglas service station dealers of San Diego County.
Here comes the ramp, and soon we will see the President of the United States and his party disembark from the presidential Boeing 707.
Hi. Hi.
The reception committee is forming ranks here. Others in the plane besides the politicians whom I mentioned are scheduled to be General Maxwell Taylor, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral George Anderson, the Chief of Naval Operations, and here comes the President of the United States, followed by Senator Engel, Lionel Van Deerlin, Congressman, Secret Service man behind him. Secretary of the Navy Fred Korth is on the plane. The Assistant Secretary of the Navy Paul Fay, General David Shoup, Commandant of the Marine Corps. There's Pierre Salinger, the Presidential Secretary. The Governor now is speaking to the President, followed by Senator Engel and Congressman Van Deerlin. Welcome to San Diego, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
The President just said thank you very much as we welcomed him personally to San Diego, and he's going to see a large part of San Diego, a large part of the population of San Diego as he proceeds out El Cajon Boulevard to State College, an estimated 250,000 persons. Hi, Lionel. And the motorcade proceeds, followed by Secret Service agents.
Get it? I think so. Good.
A total of about a dozen automobiles. Directly behind the President's car is an automobile with Secret Service agents. And behind that is a compact which has in it some of the top newsmen, including Merriman Smith of the United Press, the senior White House correspondent, who says, thank you, Mr. President, to wind up the press conference. Other dignitaries, state officials, mayor, zipping right by here, and soon they will be getting out on El Cajon Boulevard. When the motorcade leaves the field here, it'll swing south on Pacific Highway, past the Convair plant and the airport terminal, over on Palm Avenue and onto the new Crosstown Freeway, connecting with Cabrillo Freeway, then north to Washington Street and over to El Cajon Boulevard.
The presidential motorcade driving right down the center of the street in our picture. He has not yet arrived at 52nd and El Cajon, where our first stationary camera is located. We hope to have a much steadier picture from the stationary camera, naturally, because it'll be mounted square right on the sidewalk. That's a shot of the helicopter flying over. This, if I'm not incorrect, is one of the helicopters that's relaying our TV signal from the mobile camera in the parade route. The police drive by quite frequently, helping the Marines keep the crowd in check. The Marines, by the way, are stationed at 54th and El Cajon, where we have one of the biggest crowds of the route, are stationed about every 5 or 6 feet apart, and they've certainly had their hands full in keeping these people back because everybody's leaning forward, pushing to the front, knowing that the president's about to go by. The band in the background, Crawford High School Band, striking up, hoping that the president will be here any moment and wanting to play some stirring march music for him. May I again point out that the picture you see is not from 54th and El Cajon. It's from a vantage point about 4 blocks west of where we are, looking west and seeing the first of the motorcade as it goes by. And that's part of the crowd lining the streets, lots of children, the Marines with their hands full. The motorcycle officer, I understand, has been instructed to make sure that everybody does not get out into the street. No reports of whether or not he has run over any toes or not, but doing a good job of keeping them by. Now, the presidential motorcade is approaching 54th and El Cajon. Everybody here is on his feet. The people are beginning to cheer. The people behind me are, of course, quite expectant and quite excited about this occasion. First car coming by our camera at 54th and El Cajon is one of the lead cars on the motorcade. Behind it, the officers on their motorcycles with their red lights blazing. They can see them now, and a cheer is going up from 54 and El Cajon. They're yelling, they're waving. They've all got signs, it seems, and they're all waving their signs. The president looks fit. He's got a great big smile. He's waving to all of the people along, waving to our camera right now, getting a tremendous ovation from the crowd. He looks fine. He's got a big smile on his face. Governor Brown in the car with him, along with Lionel Van Deerlin, Senator Claire Engel. In the second car, Glenn Anderson, Attorney General Stanley Mosk, Assemblyman Jim Mills, various White House guests.
He will be brought directly past helicopter number 1, which is his helicopter to be used when he flies to the Marine Corps Recruit Depot. At this point, he will be greeted by Dr. Love, the Chancellor of the State Colleges, Dr. Dumke, the trustees of the State College system. There we can see now through our glasses the familiar automobile which you have seen through the course of our parade with the President Kennedy, Governor Brown, and there's Senator Engel. There are the 3 of them. And the President looking, still talking to the people in the car. Now there comes the familiar smile, standing up, and the brush of that hair off his forehead. Now the official greeting of the President by Mr. Heilbrunn, who is the chairman of the State College Board of Trustees. There's Alan Sutherland of San Diego saying hello to Lionel Van Deerlin. The President certainly looks slim and young. There's Pierre Salinger moving right behind him. This is the official greeting party. Everyone in this stadium now is standing up because many still are unable to see the President because he is standing behind that canvas, and of course that is also behind the stage, conversing there with Mr. Sutherland, Mr. Heilbrunn, Dr. Dumke, State College President Love, and now there goes the gown. The gown is being put on the President now. Incidentally, that is a medium size, which is ordered from Champaign, Illinois. The cap and gown, about $115, we understand. There are 3 black stripes on each sleeve of this doctor's gown, and the President taking time for the autograph for the Aztec angels who assisted him. And what a tremendous memory this shall be for these young State College students. And there is the cap which the President will wear. The gold tassel will be on the left side because he has already received a number of honorary degrees. There is President Kennedy, who with Dr. Love, the last in line, as the procession moves on to the stage. In front of Dr. Love and President Kennedy are Governor Brown and Dr. Dumke, who is the Chancellor of the California State Colleges. And obviously, we focus on the important man of the occasion, the honor guard, the Air ROTC. And now the applause. Now the hand clapping. Now they have seen the president. This is the moment for which they have waited. There is bubbles and flourishes. Now the president has given his hat. Rises again. Amazing spectacle. Where you smile when you applaud the president.
President Love, Governor Brown, Chairman Heilbrunn, Dr. Lowe, trustees, fellow graduates, ladies and gentlemen. I want to express a very strong sense of appreciation for the honor that you have given to me today to be an instant graduate of this distinguished college. It is greatly appreciated, and I'm delighted to participate in what is a most important ceremony in the lives of us all. One of the most impressive, if not the most impressive, accomplishments of this great Golden State has been the recognition by the citizens of this state of the importance of education as the basis for the maintenance of an effective free society. This fact was recognized in our earliest beginnings at the Massachusetts Bay Colony, but I do not believe that any state in the Union has given more attention in recent years to educating its citizens at the highest level, at the doctoral level, graduate level, in the colleges, state colleges, the junior colleges, the high schools, the grade schools. You recognize that a free society places special burdens upon any free citizen. To govern is to choose, and the ability to make those choices, wise and responsible and prudent, requires the best of all of us. No country can possibly move ahead, no free society can possibly be sustained unless it has an educated citizenry whose qualities of mind and heart permit it to take part in the complicated and increasingly sophisticated decisions that pour not only upon the President and upon the Congress, but upon all the citizens who exercise the ultimate power. We are the privileged, and it should be the ambition of every citizen to express and expand that privilege so that all of our countrymen and women share it. Thank you.
President getting a standing ovation and the thousands gathered here.
And here is the president's helicopter taxiing to a stop. Met at the helicopter by the Commandant of the Marine Corps, General Shoup and General Wade, both of whom you see in the foreground.
That's the Commandant on the right.
General Wade to the left on your screen and General Shoup to the right. As a matter of fact, it was a letter from General Shoup to the president that started this 50-mile hike craze, wasn't it?
It was for a fact, and the 50-mile hike business started way back.
And here comes the President of the United States being saluted and welcomed by the two generals. The 21-gun salute has started. You hear the 21-gun salute in the background. Pierre Salinger getting off now. Secret Service men with the President. That's General Wade and the President. They are now heading towards the honors area through the archway at Pendleton Hall. The President is going to see quite a bit of activity here at the Marine Corps Recruit Depot, where a wonderfully organized series of events is set. The President and his escorts are now approaching the archway and will be going through the archway of Pendleton Hall. On the other side of this archway is the lawn area where the Sea School Honor Guard and the Marine Corps Recruit Depot Band are awaiting. The Sea School Honor Guard is a group of men that are not very long out of recruit training. Isn't that right, Sergeant?
That's right. They've just completed recruit training. They go up to Camp Pendleton and have several weeks of infantry training and then back down to school. They're a very select group within the Marine Corps.
They'll remember this the rest of their lives, won't they?
They certainly will. Every Marine on the depot will remember this the rest of their lives.
The President has just emerged through the archway and now will cross the roadway and onto the lawn area where the Sea School Honor Guard and the Marine Corps Recruit Depot Band are awaiting.
This is a beautiful ceremony. Honors are a touching event. You feel some of the enthusiasm by the gunners when they're firing the guns, by the band when they're playing, by the troops that are marching by. They always do their best for honors because it's a ceremonial occasion.
The smoke that we see there is from the saluting battery, isn't that right?
That's right, from the smoke from the shell. Then the band will troop the line. It'll come out front. And now you see the President accompanied by General Wade. Now this is a cursory inspection of the Honor Guard. He doesn't actually, as a rule, stop and say anything to anybody. He just makes a trip down the line and an honorary inspection of the unit. They're going over so that they will start on the right flank of the Honor Guard. And as they come back around, in back of them, they'll get back to their original positions in the front, and then the Honor Band and the Honor Guard will pass in review in front of them, and that will conclude the ceremony. Now you see that these Marines are raising their rifles as the President comes by. It is his privilege to stop and inspect any rifle there to see if it's clean. It's not necessary, we assure you, those rifles are clean.
Smartly and neatly executed, every one of these maneuvers.
Well, these Sea School Marines are very sharp. They're used so much on ceremonial events that ceremonies are their business. They're used for much of this sort of thing aboard ship. And each one of these, as he graduates from this sea school, will be sent to a carrier or a cruiser, and they will serve aboard the ship.
Are these families of the servicemen who are in the background?
Yes. Those are the wives and children. As a matter of fact, some of the Marines are back there, too, that have no part in today's events.
This is perhaps one of the most colorful events of the entire visit of the President here.
I think so. To us, this is the highlight of the day. And now he's telling the unit commander that he had a nice-looking outfit, that they were all squared away. he's going to go back to back to his original position, and then you'll hear a command possibly pass and review, and the band will start up and pass by, and the platoons will follow. That's, as I started to tell you a while ago, that's the general staff of the recruit depot in back of the President and General Wade. His administrative and logistic and intelligence officers, that sort of thing.
Now the troops will be passing in review.
Right. I don't know whether we'll be able to pick up that command or not.
This entire ceremony takes slightly under 15 minutes, doesn't it?
Yes, I believe so. 13 and a half minutes.
The Marine Corps Recruit Depot Band in itself is quite a famous aggregation.
Oh, yes. It appears in public something like 200 times a year off the recruit depot. That's in addition to morning flag-raising ceremonies here and all of the other recruit graduations, many appearances aboard the depot, but other than that, they go all over Southern California. They march in the Rose Bowl Parade every year, along with the 1st Marine Division Band and the El Toro Band.
This is really a beautiful sight. That lawn looks like green velvet, and the trees surrounding it. Really a gorgeous sight. The President will certainly appreciate.
Well, I know I'm impressed, but I'm always impressed when I see a Marine in a blue uniform. I suppose that's our trademark. It's not an everyday working uniform, certainly, but it is a beautiful uniform. And when you see platoons all neatly aligned in a blue uniform, it's an impressive sight to me, and I've been looking at them for a long time.
To me, as a civilian, it certainly sends a thrill up my spine to watch this ceremony and to know that the President of the United States is with us right here, observing along with us.
As I said earlier, I don't think that there's a man here, woman either, that will forget this for the rest of their lives. And it means something possibly a little more to military people, in that he's not only our president just as he is the civilians' president, but he's our boss the other way too.
Commander-in-Chief of all the armed forces. The Marine Corps hymn, the famous Marine Corps hymn, as the band passed the President.
Introduced to the general staff now. The man on the extreme left is Colonel Mandeville, the chief of staff of the depot, and then the comptroller, the operations officer, the looks like yes, the administrative officer and the intelligence officer.
Now the honors ceremony has been completed, and where does the President go from here, Sergeant?
Well, the caravan will form from here. It'll go through the arcade, back onto the parade field where the helicopters landed a few moments ago, and down the street to receiving barracks, where the President will step into the they have yellow footsteps painted for the recruits to stand as they report in. The President will step into a set of those footprints and will hear and see just what the young recruit sees and hears. It's a very impressive thing at receiving barracks. In 56 minutes, they completely change a civilian into at least most of a Marine. I think
see this also.
That's right.
Matter of fact, it wasn't expected that he would absolutely get out? I mean, you didn't figure your schedule on his getting out of the car.
He's not scheduled to get out of the car. You just see what our schedule's worth. But we felt certain that he would get out.
He's congratulating the instructor, I think, of the pugilistic area. Isn't that who it is?
I think he's getting some information from the instructor. The president, of course, has a very strong interest in physical fitness, so it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that he would get out and get involved in this. I trust he won't run one of the obstacle courses. That's not in the schedule either. There's the red band to simulate the band at the end of the route.
Now, these fellows, they come in on each other and they shout blood-curdling yells, don't they?
I'll say they do. If the drill instructor didn't stop them after they knocked the other one down, they would continue to beat on him, because this is training for combat, and combat is a messy business.
Here's where they get their first real physical contact experience, don't they?
Yes, that's right.
I think that they get to like it, too, don't they?
Certainly they do. The Marine Corps tries to instill
he really got
competition in each one of these people. And they like it very much. As on Sunday afternoons when they're off, they do this sort of thing then. Body contact games.
It's a combination of bayonet and boxing motions that they
bayonet fighting. Right, bayonet fighting is boxing in a sense. You use the same movements in bayonet fighting that you use in boxing.
Speaking of physical activity, you don't have a touch football game going here this afternoon, do you?
No, our schedule wouldn't permit it, and it's a little out of season for us on touch football. We play a little soccer on Sundays as a part of the recruits' recreation period.
And we have the president be willing to stand here the rest of the afternoon and watch this, judging from the pleasure, the expression of pleasure that he has.
He looks like he's enjoying it, all right.
The President of the United States.
General, gentlemen, I want to express my very strong appreciation to all of you this morning on behalf of the people of this country. The United States, though a young country, has an honorable and distinguished martial tradition stretching back to the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, the War of 1847, the Civil War, the Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, Korea. It has meant that every generation of Americans in our country's history has had to bear arms in defense of this country. In more recent years, however, our responsibility has been broader. Since 1945 and the end of the Second World War, the whole cause of freedom has depended upon the United States. We have been the keystone in the arch. So I come here today not to speak to all of you, but to get the kind of realization which all of us in Washington need, which is that there are still thousands of young men in this country who are ready to take up arms in its defense. That the old Corps may have been a great Corps, but the new Corps is just as good. That the young men who are coming off the farms and cities of this country and joining the Marines and the Navy are just as good as their fathers were in the Second War or their brothers in Korea. And that now and in the years to come, those who oppose us, those who wish us ill, must contend with the strong determination of Americans to not only endure and survive, but also to prevail. On behalf of the people of this country, I wish to give you our strongest thanks.
The Douglas Service Station dealers of San Diego County have presented highlights of President Kennedy's visit to San Diego. This pre-recorded recorded program was produced by the News and Special Events Department of KFMB TV, San Diego.